Hello! We recently hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers in just under a month, and today I'm going to tell you how we did it. I'm Gabby from She Makes It Work, and I'm so excited to tell you what we did to hit this number in such a short amount of time. First, some facts. We launched our channel on May 29th, and on June 28th, we'd already hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers. On June 29th, which is exactly 1 month after we launched, we'd hit 1,250 subscribers. So we exceeded our original goal by 25%. As of today, July 8th, we are sitting at 2,800 subscribers, so we definitely have momentum. So let's get into how we did it. The first thing we did is we treated this as a business from the beginning. That means we sat down and wrote out our business strategy. The business we want to grow and our brand, She Makes It Work, will eventually be bigger than YouTube. But from the beginning, we knew that YouTube would be the anchor of our strategy and was going to be the first thing that we tackled. Knowing that, we then set our goal in milestones. It's a little ambitious, but we actually want to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Once we had that goal lined out, it was really easy to sit down and mark out the milestones, especially since we wanted to make sure that we started off with strong momentum, maintain that momentum, and continued to snowball our numbers to hopefully hit that 50K number in that 6-month period. That means our first goal was to hit 1,000 subscribers in our first month of our channel, and we relentlessly focused on our goal. I'm going to talk about what relentless focus means, but it's really important to know that once you set something as your primary goal, every single step you take after that should be in support of that main goal. And here's what that looks like. Knowing that YouTube was the anchor of our business strategy, we then sat down and lined out our priorities in order to hit that goal. And our first priority had to be good content. You cannot be successful on YouTube without good content. And that means we had to learn very quickly what good content would look like in our niche. We had to do a lot of filming because we need to be able to have a lot of material out there for people to react to and for us to know what's landing well and what's good, basically, and focus on constantly improving that content as well. Our second priority would then be growing our audience. Once we made sure that we had a good content plan, we also wanted to make sure that we had a good plan around how we were going to actually grow the audience and get people to see our content. Once we set those priorities, nothing else mattered. Even though, again, we do have a lot of goals for our business, we knew that we had to be completely laser focused on making good content, improving our content, and growing that audience in order to hit these goals that we'd set for ourselves. As small business owners, our resources are mainly our time and whatever money we can come up with to invest in the business. And so we needed to know where should we be spending the bulk of our time, and again, any financial resources that we had as well. And our working agreement was to continue to focus our resources on those priorities pretty much exclusively. In terms of learning what good content looks like, that's a matter of both learning from those who came before us as well as making a bunch of content and experimenting and then learning from our own content itself and how it performs. I do have to give a big shout out to Vanessa and Modern Millie. They have made a ton of videos about how to start on YouTube, and they really focus on content and how to make good content. So if you're looking for any tips on the content itself, I would absolutely recommend watching Vanessa and Modern Millie's channels if you don't already. And I'll put links down in the description below as well. So let's talk about that first priority of ours, which was making good content. In order to do that, we identified what our niche was going to be. Now, I know there's a lot of debate right now about niching down and then growing, but the best advice that I'm seeing out there is to really focus on a niche before you try and expand it. And within that niche, you do have to experiment a little bit to see what lands well. So we started off by saying that our niche was going to be professional and business content for women. When it came to identifying our niche, that was easy. Abby and I started this channel because we are so passionate about supporting professional women. We have so much experience from growing our own careers that we then wanted to share that through being able to provide advice, dialogue, and free resources through our YouTube channel to people who are coming up and developing their careers, or, we often felt stuck at certain points in our careers, and it took a lot of work to figure out how to get unstuck, and that is something that we really want to help other women with, is knowing the things that can get you stuck and knowing how to get out of it, as well as having a strategy for shaping your career, which can include what you're doing in your corporate job, but could also include a big career change like Abby and I just made in starting our own business. Because we're so passionate about this, choosing our audience was so easy. We knew that we really wanted to speak to women in the age ranges of 25 to about 40, 45, because that is where I think a lot of people need the most support, is they're either earlier in their career and they're trying to figure out what this working world is like. They're at a midpoint in their career and they're working on their leadership and management skills, or they may be thinking about a career transition, which again is something Abby and I are recently doing as well, and something that I've helped other people through. So once we really formalized our niche and our audience, we then sat down and brainstormed our content. And so what we did is we made a giant list of topics that we thought would be high value and helpful to the people that we're trying to speak to. And then we sat down and prioritized those topics as well. Now, that prioritization is dynamic. We are constantly reprioritizing topics, whether that's because someone's asking us about things and so we raise that up in priority, or we're seeing that people are searching for a certain kind of content. That means that that's the content that they need. And so we're going to then reprioritize that. And we also are leaning heavily on vidIQ and ChatGPT to find out what's in demand and also look at what's low saturation. Now, that just makes good business sense. Like any business, you want to make sure that there's high demand and low competition. It also is really meaningful to us because part of our philosophy was this is an underserved community. This is an underserved topic area. So we're looking for things that people need in order to help them in their careers, and that there's not a lot of other people talking about it. So that makes us feel better because we feel like our philosophy is really aligned well with business principles, and that means that we can continue to be authentic to who we are and who we're trying to serve. Part of our content strategy is also focusing on unique content. This leans a little bit into what I was talking about, underserved and low saturation content, but we also feel like in our career experiences, we have unique experiences that we can share and hopefully help people see things in new ways. And so our differentiator is our experience and depth in this world based on these experiences we've had that I think a lot of women have at work as well, and talk about topics that just aren't talked about as much as they should be. So we wanted to lean into that differentiator and help find that unique voice, and hopefully that does land with our audience. And based on the results that we're getting, I kind of think that it does. We've also focused a lot of our own education in this space as well. For example, I have a degree in psychology, which I often used in my leadership roles to help with organizational and structure work, as well as building client skills and helping build teams and work on the relationships within those teams. Abby is a single mother who has changed careers into technology and then into leadership and has forged her own path as well. So we feel like these unique voices that we bring add to that differentiation and add to that kind of unique content that we're trying to bring to bear. The other reason I feel like this is a unique perspective is because I've looked for this perspective myself. I've looked for other women who are more senior to me who would speak out about these things. And then I hit a point in my career where I realized that's me now. I'm that older, more experienced professional woman. I am that leader, and it is on me to then give back to the community in ways that I was searching for when I was growing my career. And I know Abby feels the same way as well. When it comes to making good content, the other thing that's really important to keep in mind is continuous improvement and constant focus on improving your quality. And that means both the topics that we're serving up to our audience, as well as refining our filming and our delivery of that content. So we definitely knew that as long as we had decent video quality and strong audio, that the visual effects for our niche didn't matter as much. And what really mattered is that we were saying what we were trying to say in a way that would land well with our audience. So we quickly had to learn a few things about scripting and about prioritizing, getting to the point as quickly as possible, because that is what works on YouTube. People are saying high value statements very quickly. The audience will move on very, very quickly. And so we definitely, as part of our continuous improvement, have focused on making sure that we're getting to that value as quickly as possible, and that every single thing we're saying in the video has high value. It's something we're still working on, to be transparent, but we know that that is an important part of being successful on YouTube. And so I was really, frankly, reassured when Modern Millie and a few other creators that I watch emphasized over and over again, it takes time to learn what good content is. And you may be watching content as an audience, but when you become a content creator, you need to watch content as a content creator and learn what other people are doing. Part of continuous improvement is refining what your content format is. For us, that has absolutely been a learning journey. We have definitely been focused on delivering high value very quickly within our videos. And if you look back at some of our older videos and look at our trajectory through the month, we have increased our ability to get to the point faster and to deliver more high value statements. We've also worked on increasing our video and production quality over time. I'm fine with the fact that we started with somewhat mediocre filming and production quality, because you do have to start a little bit before you're ready. You shouldn't expect to be perfect when you start, but what you should expect is to learn as much as possible through the people who came before you, and then learn by doing. And that requires sitting down, filming, watching your videos, seeing where you lose interest, asking some test audience members where they lose interest. And also, once you're publishing the videos, checking your watch times and seeing where you're losing viewers, and then continuing to improve based off of that. The next thing we did with our content is something that you'll hear from every content creator, but I'm gonna say it again because this is 100% part of our journey and how we got here, which is posting consistently. Whatever consistently means for you. So you have to pick a sustainable schedule. We decided to start with one video a week, which we did think was a little aggressive. I have had 2 other projects that I've done, both of them podcast audio dramas, and that production we posted every 2 weeks, not once a week. So I thought, I was a little nervous, frankly, about going into once a week and whether we could commit to it. But because this is our priority and because we're so focused on growing the business as quickly as possible, we agreed to do the weekly schedule, and we agreed to do whatever we needed to do for our workflow to make sure that we could maintain that consistent posting. We're also working on posting shorts daily, which is a lot harder, to be honest, than weekly posting of long form content. So we're getting there. At launch, we also wanted to make sure that we had enough content to launch with. We originally wanted to launch with 3 videos. One of our videos was significantly longer than we expected it to be, and we thought that that wouldn't go over well for a new channel to start with such a long video. So we split that into 3 parts, which was in and of itself a risk. So we launched with 5 episodes. The other key to quality content is having strong thumbnails and titles. Technically, this also goes into the growing your audience category, but it is part of building your content. And you'll hear major creators say that they spend hours and hours on their thumbnails and their titles before they even start shooting. That's great. That is not our life. Like, for us, we're just working on making sure our content is as good as it can be, and we want to make sure that we have good thumbnails that represent our brand and our authentic voices, as well as learning what good titles look like for our type of content. So we're leaning really heavily on vidIQ for this as well, and also ChatGPT. So for every episode, I'm testing out the titles and the thumbnail idea with vidIQ and with ChatGPT. Abby does the thumbnail design, and she's definitely landed on a template and a format that works for us. And within those thumbnails, we're still experimenting with the wording in the thumbnail versus the wording in the title to maximize our SEO. We also take some risks with our thumbnails because sometimes we do make quirky faces when we're filming, and we really want our thumbnails to reflect our personality. So a lot of times we'll choose some of our more interesting facial expressions from the videos to be part of the thumbnail. I've definitely had some of my friends ask me why we make such strange faces in our thumbnails, but honestly, we like it. We think it's funny, and we also think it gets attention. And more importantly, it is part of our authentic voice. And that's something where, with making professionally geared content, where it is on professional and business topics, we still want to be able to express ourselves and have a little bit of fun and make sure that that is authentically part of what we're doing. And I think expressing that in our thumbnails is a really fun way to do it. We're also starting to A/B test our thumbnails. So if you are on YouTube or thinking about being on YouTube and you've never done this, you can actually have YouTube test out different thumbnails for you. So when you're in your video upload or even after the fact, you can have multiple thumbnails. You can put up to 3 on there, and YouTube will automatically run a test, and then you can see the results of which thumbnail you're actually getting more click-throughs on your impressions from, and you can see which thumbnails work better for you. I highly recommend doing A/B testing. I 100% wish YouTube would let us A/B test our titles as well, because Abby and I are constantly going back and forth and having healthy debates about titles, even after we do our testing with ChatGPT and with vidIQ. And I would love the option to just test out different titles. What I have done is, as I've learned more about titles and about SEO, I've started going back and tweaking some of the titles of our older videos just to see if we start to get a boost again, to see if it makes any difference. So even if the system doesn't allow you to do A/B testing, you can still perform different kinds of tests for yourself. Now, this is where you could do polls and other things to test things before you post them. We haven't started doing that, but we might do that in the future because I do think that's interesting, but we need a bigger audience in order for our polls to actually resonate and land and start getting results out of them. Now, I've mentioned vidIQ a few times, so let me just explain what it is. vidIQ is both a service and a plugin. You can have a browser plugin and you link it into your YouTube, and it will score your videos, your thumbnails, and your titles specifically. Now, it's a little wonky on shorts because for shorts you can't pick your own thumbnails, and like titles don't matter quite as much for shorts. It's really that first kind of view of what you're doing. But for long form content, vidIQ is super helpful and amazing, and I very much highly recommend it, at least the free version. Now, there are also some AI tools in vidIQ that I haven't started learning yet where it can give you thumbnail suggestions. So I'm going to be playing with that a little bit too. We're using the paid version of vidIQ, so I'll be playing with that a little bit more in the future and really get my money's worth out of it, basically. But even just testing and scoring is super helpful. vidIQ will also suggest topics that it's seeing being searched. And once vidIQ and YouTube get enough information about you and your audience, they can actually start giving you more information about your competitors as well. So you can use a service like vidIQ, and you can choose to also do your own kind of looking at search terms like Modern Millie suggests in her video about 12 months to becoming a successful content creator. I suggest doing both. I like using vidIQ to get some like quick ideas or even things that I wouldn't know to search for just to see what are people looking at in my niche. But to get more specific information about ideas, that's where you do want to go in and test out the search terms and look at what people are looking for specifically. And again, that also feeds into not just topic ideas and how you prioritize your backlog of topics, but how you frame up your titles, because you want your titles to match what people are looking for as closely as possible. So let's talk about growing your audience. Now, I've touched on a few SEO items that really help grow your audience because it helps the YouTube algorithm match your content to the people who are looking for it. So again, what you put in your thumbnails, what you put in your titles, and what you put in your episode descriptions matter for SEO, as well as the keywords and tags that you're using. All of that helps your video's searchability. I also want to say that I've seen a few videos lately that YouTube has a team of people that's dedicated to helping to match new channels to audiences. So YouTube is actually trying to help push content from new channels to their prospective audiences. And the best thing you can do as a content creator is make sure that you're giving YouTube enough information so that they can do that well. And again, that means giving YouTube information in the text of your titles and your episode descriptions and your keywords, as well as if you have subtitles in your videos. I say that. You may notice that in our previous videos we haven't had subtitles, but I just learned that this is a great SEO trick. So everything I said I have been doing, and that is part of how we've grown our audience, except for the subtitles and videos. But now that I know that that helps SEO so much, we are going to start doing subtitles ASAP. One of the other biggest things that we did to grow our subscriber base was to promote individual videos. So this goes back to that prioritization of our resources, where I've learned through experience that not advertising doesn't work on other things that I've done, like those audio podcasts. Now, because YouTube has a team of people helping match your audience, that is great. And that is a wonderful thing that is working for people to find their audience. But we had an aggressive goal. And in order to meet that aggressive goal, we decided that we did want to promote some of our videos and help those videos find our audience faster. That means more people are getting impressions of our videos, watching our videos, and then subscribing to our channel. So what we did is we decided to do some YouTube promotions on episodes, and we also ran a Facebook ad and a LinkedIn ad. We'll talk more about this in our learnings videos and go into a lot more depth about how we did it and what we learned, but I will say YouTube, 100%, that's the way to go. That was the best ROI on any of our ads. We had suspected that that would be, because we know go where your audience is, meet them where they are. We knew that was a good principle, but we did want to test that by advertising on other platforms just in case there were professional women who just don't spend quite as much time on YouTube. We wanted to see, can we draw them into YouTube? And we did. We did get at least decent returns from our Facebook and LinkedIn ads, but nothing like the dollar per subscriber ROI that we got from YouTube. So if you have any money that you can invest in your YouTube channel as a business, I would recommend trying to run some promotions on your episodes. Now, we prioritized episodes that we thought would land well with our audience, but wouldn't necessarily be the most searched for. And the results that we've gotten from our ads have been really helpful in terms of knowing what is resonating with our audience, because we can still look at our percentage rate of impressions to views, and then from views to subscribers to see which of those episodes does better. I highlight that because you do lose a little bit of information about your audience on the watch time. So you're getting views from people who weren't necessarily looking for your content, but they'll give it a shot. They are more likely to drop off in views faster than your key dedicated audience. So when you're trying to learn about your content and you go back and you watch your watch times and where am I losing my audience, that's going to be a little bit different when you're running an ad. So I would caution that. There's definitely nothing wrong with growing your audience organically, and there's also nothing wrong by running paid promotions if you can afford it, to try and grow your audience a little bit more aggressively. And because we want to hit our goal by the end of the year, we know that any push we can give our channel now will help us get that momentum and snowball so that we can hit 50K by the end of the year. So that's how we did it. Not only did we hit our 1,000 subscribers in 1 month goal, we exceeded it by 25%. And a week and a day later, we're now at 2,800. So we've got the momentum. Wish us luck. And if you try any of these tips, or if you want to try them, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Thank you so much. I'm Gabby from She Makes It Work. And stay tuned for our next episode where Abby's going to talk about what we learned along the way. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.